England had an official state church headed by the king. Some English Protestants, called Puritans, thought it was too corrupt and worldly and wanted to reform or purify it. Another smaller and more radical group of Puritans, called Separatists, broke from the church altogether. In November 1620, about 100 people, including 30 religious separatists, arrived at Cape Cod on the coast of modern-day Massachusetts. These are the people who we know as the Pilgrims. A pilgrim is a person who makes a journey for religious reasons. Fearing the corrupting influences and harassment at home, these pilgrims had come to the wilderness to start over and build up a community based on their beliefs. In 1630, a much larger group of about 1,000 Puritans settled a few miles north of the Pilgrims in Massachusetts Bay. They too had come to create a new society based on Christian principles, as Puritan leader John Winthrop explained.
The end is to improve our lives and do more service to the Lord and comfort and increase the body of Christ, whereof we are members, that ourselves and posterity may be better preserved from the common corruptions of this evil world, to serve the Lord and work out our salvation under the power and purity of his holy ordinance. We shall be as a city upon a hill, the eyes of all people are upon us.
The Puritans believed that God had chosen them to redeem Christianity and to serve as a religious model to the world. And to ensure the success of their holy mission, the Puritans made a covenant or agreement with God that ruled every part of their lives.
They meant to purify society by coming to America when they didn't think they could do it in England anymore, and live a pure life here. I think the simplest way to think of them, people who organize their lives around three things: religion, family, and community.
The Puritans came with their families. The family was the foundation of the Puritan covenant, the mother hive out of which both the swarms of state and church issued forth.
Within the Puritan society, no one was to live alone, because the idea was that you needed to have other people watch over you, both watch over your safety, but also watch over your behavior.
No bachelors, no single women. Everyone had to live within a family. If they didn't have their own family, they had to live in someone else's family. No singles in Puritan Massachusetts.
Puritan society was patriarchal, that is, governed by men. The father ruled his family, controlling both their economic and religious affairs. The Puritan wife and mother lived under her husband's control, giving up her property and legal rights to her husband when she married.
The woman was thought to be subordinate to the man. A woman, even before she was married, could never travel by herself or really be in public alone. She had to be with a brother, a father, or a husband.
The woman's role was to run the home and garden, and most importantly, to bear children. And when the father failed to maintain a peaceful and religious household, the community reserved the right both to excommunicate the father from the church and to take the children from the family for placement in a foster home.
What was it like to be a child in a Puritan family? It was certainly to learn obedience from the earliest years. The Puritans believed you had to break the will of a child. When that little baby learned to walk and learned to talk and exhibit its own will and a bit of stubbornness, it was thought you had to deal with that child very severely.
You spanked them a lot, and you shamed them a lot, and you taught them a lot about sin as early as you could, and you made them understand that they were responsible, that their behavior could bring down God's wrath on the whole community, that they were responsible to and for the family and the group around them. It was a pretty heavy trip to lay on a kid.
Massachusetts was so concerned about disobedience in children that by the 1640s they passed a disobedient child law which said that a child who sassed its parents and would not obey was liable to capital punishment. Now, the Puritans did not kill any children for being disobedient, but they did put a law on the books to that effect, to warn kids.
Childhood in Puritan New England usually ended around ages 10 to 12, when most children were sent to live with other families as indentured servants or apprentices. Not only did these placements enable children to learn a trade, but they believed that such foster families would better impose the strict discipline necessary to raise a child.